So, hey, welcome to another episode of Creatives Ignite for the year of 2025. I am challenging myself to show you my process and face some fears. One of my fears is fear of failure, fear of rejection. And in that, there is a fear of success. And I have held myself back for too long. So this year, I challenged myself. I can't tell you how many years I've said, I'm going to do a recording every month. I'm going to make a video. And it never is a priority. So I have a hard time making myself or what I want to do a priority. So it's something I'm doing. I'm forcing myself to do it. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends are like, you'll probably just get one recording done a month. Or it's just over, right? It's over. And I'm like, well, for right now, the community live, I'm not scheduling it in as something that I'm for sure doing. Anyway, I've already had a whole episode about that. I'm not going into this. But I am going to record things about my process. My process as an illustrator. I would like to make money as an illustrator. I actually have interviewed a lot of illustrators, a lot of designers, and there's so many ways that we can make money. And I think maybe people don't either know how hard it is or they don't know all the different things. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you through my process, and I'm going to talk about surface pattern design. I'm going to talk about hoping to get licenses, going after them, what I did, what happened, getting copyright, all the things that go into it. I'm doing. I'm collaborating. So I'm going to talk about that some. I'm also figuring out what I draw, what I make as an illustrator, finding styles that I'm going to think are mine. I'm also going to show you, I think some of this is all like one thing, it's kind of like, okay, this is the journey that I'm on. I'm taking you along for the good and the bad and the ugly, just like some of the things that I'll be showing you today. Maybe we're going to talk some web stuff at some point because I'm redesigning two of my websites. And I'm definitely going to have videos that are about exploration. They probably won't be scooshed into all one. They'll be more smaller little tidbits. And then there's going to be some really short tidbit videos that maybe are like things that I've dealt with clients and I hear all the time. From other designers or other entrepreneurs, or it's something that is like, here's a 10-minute how to set up a workflow in your email, setting up a landing page, creating a form for people to fill out, like things that any business can use. But I think as a designer, I come at it from a different perspective. It's not that hard. If I can do it, you can do it. So I also am going to have some vlogs, kind of like this right here, but it's really the reflection part that I've been holding back from doing, or the stuff that I was processing. I am a verbal processor. If you don't know what that means, what that is that means that when I'm working out a problem, it is best for me to talk to somebody. I talk on the phone. I'm working out the problem or finding solutions as I speak through it. Part of that is part of my problem that I don't prioritize myself. I don't prioritize reflection for myself. I totally do it for clients. There's some weird stuff in my brain that makes it hard for me to do it for me. So part of this year is me forcing myself to reflect. Now, I have notes. I've been writing. So I'm trying to, I was using certain friends and I don't want to overtax anybody. I don't know. If you're a verbal processor, you probably spread it around. But like my mom was my main person, God is also a huge part of my life, and there will be some God talk. So not like I'm preaching at you. I don't know why I did that with my fist, but like I'm going to tell you where I'm struggling or what. Thank goodness I have Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and I'm not completely alone. And I'm just going to share some of those things. And I'm going to show you a little later about some things that I've figured out about my process. Last year, I made all these birds. And doing that bird project, it was with Genna Blackburn, her 75 art. It was like 75 hard, I think, is an exercise thing. This was 75 art. The community was freaking awesome. Those people were so encouraging. I was not doing Jenna's prompts at all. I was like, no, I need accountability and I need encouragement. That's what I need, because I'm working through a new type of making. And in those 75 days, I made a ton of birds, plenty of videos. Maybe can I put it here, or will it be here? Whatever. It'll be in one of those spots. And there'll be a link down below. I'll put it in the top part. But I'm going to be talking about how I get in my way. Do you know that I made a ton of patterns? Well, not a ton. A ton, really, Diane? A ton. No, I made 12. 12 patterns back in 2023. Now, my mom died in 2023. I signed up for Bonnie Christine's immersion, which was great. Love the ladies. I still meet with some of them. It's about maybe August of 2023, finished these patterns. And I have not copyrighted. Not that you have to copyright everything. Again, something I'm learning. Do I? Do I really need to copyright every single illustration I do? Or every, I don't know. You know what? We're going to find out, and you're going to learn from me. Right now, I did, because I needed to go through the process, because it was a year and a half and I hadn't done it. So it was like procrastination, or, you know, when you keep putting something off and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's like a dust ball. It's like, oh, I'll sweep next week, or I'll sweep tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. And then the dust bunny is like bigger than your face. So I needed to copyright these. You can do 10 at a time. And I didn't do the two main ones. I did the others, which I'll show you. I'm going to show you right now. Here are the patterns. This is just one colorway. You can't copyright colorways, so this is just one of the colorways. Here's what it looks like when I actually made them into the little JPEGs or PNGs or whatever it is that I made for for getting it copyright. So use the motherboard again in the background here. These are old illustrations that I just finally made into something. Oops, wrong way, Diane. And then look at these screws. Aren't they super fun? It's my favorite one. And then the motherboard. This is an old illustration that was from, look, he's got little hearts for antenna. And then this is just like a coordinate. I'm going to explain where I've struggled with making hero patterns and coordinates and all that stuff. And then this is just like a ditzy or a blender pattern. Sort of the same kind of oblong-y thing, but just two color. Oh, let me show you this. This is what I consider a robot trail, kind of like a poop trail or a snail trail, but this is what robots make. Then I just made a fun, I'll come back to this one. These are these gears, and so see this one little thing I thought was kind of fun. I made a whole pattern just with that one little thing. Again, another kind of ditzy blender. This is maybe more of a coordinate, so it has a few more colors. There's these like screws, or I don't know what those, not a screw, a bolt, I guess, and then some gears, you know, and some other little lights. These are like lights that light up. Anyway, things that knobs, you know, fun things. I think boys would like that, girls would like that. And then these are robot parts that I made into like a flower or a snowflake kind of thing looking. Anyway, I think they're fun. But these are the 10 that I copyrighted. We'll see. Hopefully they go okay. That was huge. And I got out of my way. And I did it. It probably took 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Also, I was talking to my sister today, and I was like, you know, I think I can come up with some products or sets, and maybe then, I've talked to my friend Dee about this too, is then maybe I go to trade shows and maybe I make some things and I sell some things wholesale. I found some other things, like I'm going to show you other things that have encouraged me or inspire me. Anyway, that's part I'm telling you how I'm learning and what I'm learning from it. So I'm using you as my reflector. Hopefully you're going to be okay with that. You look great in Chrome, just so you know. I mean, not Google Chrome. I mean, you look great there too, but I mean like Chrome, like reflective material. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you about this project that I did with my students. Process of this one pun plate project that I was working on. I did a whole bunch of puns. You'll see more later, but for now. Here is, kind of zooming in, this was like my sketch. This is what I thought. I would have a cup in the middle from the top and a lot of little teacups around the edge. That wasn't what ended up happening, but I think it's good to have a sketch. And here are some of these are the finals. So I'm going to bring out some of all the pieces here and show you what I started. This is just a piece of tracing paper. I actually I painted it all together and I just slipped it in. I didn't glue it down. Some of the other ones I had glued and I'm not as happy with those. I had kind of one template that I worked from. I did, I think, 8 total, and I only ended up using 6 because the 2 were templates. I ended up having to pick, so I did reverse and I changed where or I changed the type of little thing that you hold the handle, and then I just kind of reversed things. So it wasn't perfect, but they worked. Color palette, not sure I love my color palette. Oh, it's really blinding you out there. Not helping. And then I just drew on top with pencil, and then I colored with some markers. Again, I'm figuring things out as I go, and this is kind of how it works. This is what I figured out was a good process. And I didn't glue it down. You can kind of see it just slips in. But it just is painted. I'm not sure the painted tracing paper works for me, but what it is. This is the template that I started with. Not this one, but the pink one's the one I started with. And it kind of used like kind of thin paper. But the thinner paper, I thought I would just cut it, but I ended up painting it and then putting it behind. So this was 2 separate pieces. That didn't work. So I'm figuring things out as I go. I also completely did them. So like with the shading and the pencil, and I thought it was too dark on some. I made more, flowers on others. I'm just working things out. The only thing I didn't do is paint the handles. I did that at the very end. And I just kind of made a little template, and I just keep my template just in case I want to make something again. I made the handles thicker. They were too thin. Just figuring a whole bunch of stuff out. Here are all the pieces. So what I did was I had every single other pun had some sort of physical component, like a personified component. Well, I didn't want to put eyes on everything. And I was like, well, I don't want to do eyes or a mouth on these. I thought they were really cute kind of on their own. So I was like, I'm just going to add legs. Some things have arms, and it's just a kind of different. But I did them separate, so you'll see that in just a second. But I really like the little leg pieces. I like how abstract they are, and I was like, hey, maybe I can make something with these. So that's my goal this week. I just painted them the same color, and I fixed them all, like those rips and stuff I fix in Photoshop and where I couldn't cut them real well. But really, this is a process that works really well for me, like having shapes, just repeated or reflected shapes. Maybe they're not exact because I didn't use a laser, but I'm creating things and shapes and patterns with physical materials. Maybe this has to do with dyslexia or ADHD, but this really works for me. So again, I will do some more of this. It was fun. I like it. Now I just have to have enough of the shapes. Then I can scan them in and make some things on my own. But for me, to start with physical things really was helpful. Okay, this is the tea bag, and I scanned it in. I cleaned it up. So then this is just the scan from this. Then I cleaned it up, and I had something that kind of looked like this. I just kept coming back to this one. I liked the way this looked, but for a plate, I thought it was cute. I'm not sold on the ruffly ridges. I wonder if I could actually iron it and see if it would be better, or if maybe I just do an overlay in InDesign or Illustrator or whatever, and just kind of get that look instead of it having to be a physical something. From there was something missing. I added little feet, and I think that worked. It was enough simple that connects to the rest of the series, and here is the final. And I really like these little cups. I don't think they're perfect. But I'm embracing some of that imperfection. I think it's fun. It's reachable. Anyway, so that's where I am on this one. You're going to get some of these with this new style of podcast. So I'm out. I'm at my dad's and I'm walking. It is Christmas Day. And it's very quiet. I think you can hear that it's quiet. I've seen lots of deer already today, but I wanted to talk about why I have been always putting my stuff on the back burner. So the thing that I'm fighting the most is myself. So why do I do that? Why do you do that? I don't know. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe it's just me. But I think one of the things that I really want to work on, and hopefully this is not too Blair Witchy. I'm just using my arm. I don't have like a thing, selfie stick or whatever. I am holding myself back because I don't want to fail. I don't want to make something ugly. This is not new. I've had this for a while, but I am setting myself up so that I can't avoid it. And I think that's the scary part, but also the exciting part, I think. I don't want to get in my own way. And I have really been getting in my own way. But the one thing that I haven't done, I've done lots of things for clients and they've been super successful. But what I haven't done is this stuff for me. And I always put something else in front of it. So I always find these little tasks or chores that, why do I do this? These little tasks or chores that I think are they're just procrastination from me doing the hard work on me. And it's not even work that, like the work that I'm doing for me is not fun. It is fun. It is fun work. But why? Why do I avoid it? And I just think that I don't want to fail. I don't think I'm good enough. But then I look at some of the work that I've done and I'm like, well, I see where I can improve. It's like in my head, when I'm in this procrastination mode, it's that nothing is good and that I can't do anything. I'm never going to be good enough. And that is just not true. So I'm having this battle in my head about well, that's not true. Right? And also I think I've been such a great cheerleader for other people, but I've been sucky cheerleader for me. And I think that that's something I really want to work on. So as I think about, okay, well, like I could have been working on some patterns or doing some other things that I want to be doing. Even just drawing some landscapes, that's something I really want to do. But I haven't. Because I think I'm not any good. And I think my style isn't. People won't like my style. But how many people have really seen it? Not very many. But like when I'm outside, and when I'm here especially, I just love, I can't switch it around, but I love this scene, this little windy, as the driveway winds. I love this. And I love the trees. I love being outside. So being outside really calms my, inner critic. And that's something that I need to use more often. It's okay to be quiet, but I felt very alone, very isolated, but isolated on purpose. I don't know. I'm not completely alone. It's not like I don't tell anybody anything and I'm a hermit. I would not live well as a hermit. But I'm just figuring out a new normal. And I realize that I love details. But when you're doing landscapes, it's really difficult to do details. Because, man, I see all these little things in this branch. And you can't see it because you're in the wrong light. But and you probably can't see because it's just not, because it's on the wrong side of the thing. Anyway, but it's this texture, the texture on the branch, and that stuff I just really like. But as with everything, it's like I don't know how to use some of those superpowers or tools. So I'm trying to figure that out. But this is some of the stuff I love. I'm ready. I think I'm also, when I come outside, my courage comes back. I can do it. I can go paint. I could paint one thing. I could try to do something in 15 minutes. What can you do in 15 minutes? Some of the people that I really, really admire, they're just slopping on some stuff and then they draw over it and you can't even see where they started. But why am I so limited by where I was starting on a piece? And I know that my main robot pattern, the hero, man, I am not happy with it. And it doesn't have any sort of grounding. So that's something that I've figured out. That means I could work on it. And I'm not too old. I'm not too short. I'm not too young. It's just right. And I'm excited. I feel like boogers are coming out of my nose. Hopefully not. Can you hear those birds? Boop, boop. Anyway, I'm excited. Excited to carry you along. Excited that you're here. Anyway, I am looking for advice on if you don't want me to walk and carry. If this is really bad, I need to know. So I don't do that anymore. And if you deal with this, you get in your own way, I want to know. So I'm not alone. I'm doing this so you're not alone. I would love to know that I'm not alone. Some of my favorite trees are here. Blue jay. Blue jay. Blue jay. I think blue jay. They really have kind of a skull. I don't think it's a crow. No. I could use my Cornell app, bird app, which I love. Anyway, it's free. It's a free app, Cornell Ornithology or something. You listen to birds like this, like that, and it tells you, hey, this is what you're hearing. I've heard all kinds of weird birds here, and I've learned about birds from that app. It tells me what it is, and I'm like, I've never heard of that bird, and then I go inside and I look it up, or I'm reading a Bible study, and man, there's that cowbird. Do you know what a cowbird is? Will be part of this new lonely podcast. Not lonely because I'm lonely, sort of, I guess, but most lonely because I'm alone. I'm not, no one else is doing it with me. I'm not focusing on anybody else. And I think that's important for me. And man, does it feel uncomfortable. All right, the end. What I wasn't doing was that I wasn't making my art, my exploration, a priority. I was only doing it when I had extra time, and I was only doing it when I was done with everything else that was important work. And what this is doing, it is making me make time each week to make videos or make art, to explain my process. And I think hopefully it'll help me. Hopefully it'll help you. This one, I really want to know, what's the hard work you've been avoiding? I'm scared. But the scared and the fear has held me back for a lot of my life. And I'm tired of it holding me back. I don't want that to be an excuse, is the thoughts in my brain. I actually want to be rejected because I tried and I had crappy work. Maybe. Let's go for it. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm just kind of painting the picture. Expect a video every week. I'm excited to share with you, and I just appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing this with anybody, and I'd love to know if it's helpful. Come join me on this journey, and let's learn some stuff. And maybe you want to do a project or two with me. Hit like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you get notified every time, and any suggestions are welcome. See you next week on Creatives Ignite 2025.